Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm waiting another 5 minutes to let people join.
Hi, guys. Nobody is talking today.
We are just shy.
So we are waiting for both Leo.
I guess we are waiting for more people to join. I think there are some other people that will join soon.
Okay.
Leonardo just told me that he was starting the meeting and start screen sharing, but the screen share is freezing his computer. So he will join and I will do screen sharing for you.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for the issue, but my Zoom is not working when I start the screen share. So if Lorenzo can help me with the screen share.
Yep.
Thank you.
Let me zoom a bit. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Should we start or should we wait for more people to join?
I don't know. We can wait another couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, I want to record that this call is recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, please drop off now. And please add your name in the meeting notes.
I think we can start.
Yeah, I agree. So let's start this community call. Welcome everyone, and start with this week highlights. As far as I know, Falco 0.26 is out, but on GitHub, the release is still a draft. And also, I think we have not completed all the steps like the blog or announcement. I don't know if there is someone of the release team in the call now. I think no. So maybe we have to ask them when they are available.
I mean, the other point that you have in the list is that we have a bug in the 0.26.
Yeah.
And we are specifically waiting for 0.26 to be finalized to release at 0.26.1. And honestly, as a maintainer, I don't want to wait anymore for them to finish because this is actually blocking people in production.
I agree.
So I propose that we go and mark it as released because it's just clicking one button. And then we release 0.26.1 and we don't do the blog post for 0.26.0, but we do a blog post for 0.26.1 with everything in it. That's my proposal.
I agree, and maybe in the announcement we can just say that we have some issue, and so we skipped the announcement for the 0.26.
I agree because doing an announcement now and people will, read the announcement and upgrade. It's better if they don't.
I perfectly agree.
We did this already for 0.22, if I remember.
Yeah. For me, you can publish it right now if you want, for me. I don't know others. What do you think? Nobody disagree? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's do that live.
Yeah, it's we need.
Yeah, we need, but doing it live also can help people to understand what is happening.
Publish release. This is the only thing needed to go ahead.
Yeah.
And now we can just, do the other thing. So can you just write this here?
Okay. Let me.
If you want, you can go ahead. I'm just documenting what we decided and what we did.
Okay, perfect. Are you writing? Okay. Yeah. I give you a sec just to write that. Okay. Thank you, Lorenzo, for that. The next point is you again is about the release window.
Yeah.
I just added my proposal down there. Basically, my proposal is to move it to a release every 2 months. But please go on with your thoughts.
Yeah, I have the same proposal actually. I believe that we and users in the issues and everywhere in the Slack, in the mailing list, showed that they cannot keep up with us. We are releasing too often, and we're releasing basically every month. And the problem is that every time we release, we, also usually release a driver, which means that people will not be able to use the same driver for more than 1 month. So it creates problems in their deployments. One solution to that will be to make drivers so that they are backward compatible, but it's not as easy as it sounds. So releasing every 2 months seems to be a very good compromise. Another thing that we noticed in the statistics of the packages downloads is that usually people stick with the previous release for 1 month after you release the new one. Like let's say that there's 0.26.0, they will still be using 0.25.0 for 1 month. And then by the time we release 0.27.0, they will start using 0.25 or 0.26. unless there's a big bug that has been fixed or something. So with the general idea, I believe that we should just release every 2 months. And this will also remove a lot of burden, I will say, a lot of, time needed from the maintainers that they can dedicate to actually doing the things that go in the release. That's it. I saw that Spencer just joined. Spencer, I believe, was in the release team for 0.26. Just to update you, Spencer, we just decided to 0.26.0 was still a draft on GitHub. We just made it published because we need to, I mean, the release is finished. I mean, everything, all the artifacts are done. People are already using it. The step that we missed in the release that we will need to finish are doing the blog posts and doing the announcements. But we already found a bug in 0.26.0 that we need to fix with a not fixed release that would be 0.26.1. So altogether here, we decided to roll out 0.26.1 very fast and then do the announcements part together.
Yep, that makes sense.
We needed to publish it because we don't want to have a draft and then a published release because it doesn't make sense. I just a button click on GitHub. Just want to update you because you were in the release team. And kind of cool to update you on that. Okay, and then about the release window, what everyone thinks. I mean, 2 months is good. I think we at some point could increase it to 3 months.
Yeah.
And
but
then
I think
4 releases a year instead of 6, instead of 12.
But I believe it's better to move from 1 month to 2 months now.
Yeah, I agree. And
then we will see. Another thing that I want to add, maybe you, Lorenzo, already said that usually in the last part of months, we have less free credit in the CI process. So maybe it's convenient to move to schedule the release at the beginning of the month.
Yes.
It could be a good idea.
I agree. I'm also adding that we need to find all the places where we refer to the 1 month thing and update to 2 months. If we decided we want to do this, we will need to document in the places where we say release every month.
If I remember correctly, the only place is inside the release MD file in the main Falco repository. It should be only there, but we of course have to check.
What does everyone think? Thomas, Spencer, Radu, Greg?
I don't have a strong opinion.
Okay, cool. The reason for this was basically that people are complaining that you're too fast in release. Another topic that it's close to this. By the way, do we want to find a owner for this?
Yeah, I think we should pick a date now and find the next release team right now, so we can start the new process with the new team.
Okay, great. So the next release team, I believe that we will need a release team for 0.26.1, and I volunteer myself to do this.
Me too, if I can help.
To release 0.26.1, and I believe that we will, right that we are there, we can update the documentation for the 2 months thing.
I agree.
The docs for this. I think that deciding a release team now for 2 months in the future is a bit complicated because there's not many people in the code here. So I will say that we can decide this in another community call, like maybe next week or in 2 weeks. We have 2 months.
Okay.
Okay,
we can decide that in the next community call. Okay, I will keep a note of that. And please continue with the next topic. Thanks, Lorenzo.
Thank you. Version documentation just means that at this point of the Falco project where it is, another problem that people have when they update is that documentation is basically, even now it's a 0.25.0 because we didn't finish the steps in the release, but that should be 0.26. But I believe that we should be able to click here and starts a drop-down menu that says where you can pick the release that you want to look at. That way we can, have a specific version documentation so that people don't come and say, oh, it doesn't work for me because they're using another version of the tool that maybe doesn't have something like a field or like a gRPC output or whatever it is. And I believe that we should do a proposal for this in the website. What are the thoughts?
We don't actually, we don't already support this?
No,
yeah, we should definitely, we definitely need to do this.
I totally agree with this proposal. The only thing we should find someone that owns this task, because someone should implement that.
I think that we can, I don't believe that anyone even wants to do HTML and CSS, but yeah. It's not actually just that, it's also, archiving all the versions of the documentation. I believe that, that this is another topic that I want to bring it up for a second. I believe that Hugo is very cool for the documentation from the website. I believe it's not very handy for the documentation part of the website. I've seen many projects using successfully a combination of Hugo and Sphinx for that, so that they have all the features of the documentation tool. However, I believe that we can ask for this to the CNCF and see what is their opinion. They actually created a team for us. They actually did the website for us, so maybe they have some resources to throw at this. But we need to make the proposal. So someone here needs to make the proposal. If no one volunteers, I will do it in my spare time. This is also important, just for context, for our graduation at some point, because CNCF projects cannot graduate if they don't have this, which is totally reasonable, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Is it possible to make this part of the CI process?
Yes, it's totally doable. We need to find a way to archive our old documentation page and make a sub URL or something like that. It just, the way it happens is very depending on who does that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, I have
Go
so
on,
many points this week. CI best practices, for those that are not aware, sorry for my son is screaming probably in the background. For those that are not aware, we have a badge here in the Falco repository, which now says passing. It was not saying passing last week. Leonardo Di Donato and I updated it. And looks like in the past year, we did a lot of improvements. Everyone here did a lot of improvements to actually make us pass in this list of things. The last one was the static analysis in the repository that I will also talk about in this session. We are actually 100% in the bronze badge. We need to do a lot of work again for the silver badge, and we need to do some work for the gold badge. I believe that only the silver badge is required for graduation. We are at something like, sorry, Falco. We are at 149%. The maximum score is 300%. So that's it. That's the reason why I'm bringing up all those things, is that, you know, like the version of documentation will help us going up in our score. And like static analysis did. Static analysis, which has nothing to do with the static compilation, static builds, is a thing that we just started this week. And basically, if you look at the CI, you can click on integration static. And this is very important for those who want to make PRs to Falco, actually, because they will be able to find interesting insights here. Sorry, this is integration static. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing because I confused integration, static builds and static analysis. There's a static analysis badge here that you can click, and you will need to log in into GitHub to click on the artifacts. And you can click on whatever HTML file, but I suggest index.html. And this will show you an HTML page with the static analysis of Falco. If you click on statistics, you'll be able to bring up the top 10. Unfortunately, this static analysis will show you all the other files that have problems that are included in Falco, because that's how it works. But there are also, you know, many Falco things that have been statically analyzed and show things that we can improve. This is one of them. If you have time, if you have cycles, if you want to do some C++ contributions, you can go and look at the static analysis and, you know, make pull requests. They will be very welcome.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah, again, infrastructure working group call tomorrow. Yes, it happens every week. Join if you can. We are very getting close to, you know, starting the cluster, and probably start the cluster tomorrow. And it's not me anymore. Yay. Can I stop?
Yeah. The next point, automation for calls, is just a point that I reported from the last call. I want to ask if there is some updates. Basically, we thought about two ideas. One is to link HMD and GitHub in order to do not create a PR every time for meeting notes. And the other point that, in my opinion, it would be great, is if we can stream our meeting live directly on YouTube, because at the moment we have to download the video from the Zoom account, upload it to YouTube, waiting for the processing, and then publish it. That's, of course, it's a very long process and sometimes a waste of time. I don't know if Spencer, Doug did something about that.
About what? Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, I'm just asking, no problem. Yeah, it's about the automation for our calls. But
I got one uploaded, and that's how far I got.
Okay. But this is for everyone. If you have any ideas how to improve our process, you are welcome. Next point, Lorenzo and Radu, revamp Falco CTL.
I don't want to talk again. Radu, can you explain this, please?
Maybe Radu.
So I mean,
talk about Kilt before, and then explain why revamp Falco CTL.
So Tilt is pretty much, as I explained in the previous meeting, is a definition of how do we patch a container to get a binary, a sidecar inside of it, and this will be used. This will be used by the Falco release to, for example, to deploy onto in the user space, so on Fargate. So it itself is just a definition and some runtimes. And these runtimes define on how we add Falco to these specific runtimes. One runtime is CloudFormation. So for example, how do we add through CloudFormation Falco to a template, to a CloudFormation template? The idea here, so the idea behind integrating it with the Falco CTL is to actually make it with sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I'm receiving calls. The idea here is to get Falco CTL to do the installation bits that are now a custom binary. So we get an installation, we get the patching of an existing Kubernetes container, and other goodies that we may come up with. Was that correct, Lorenzo?
Yeah, I agree with everything. We wanted to, as Radu says, we have this project which is already a sandbox because it has a repository which is Falco CTL, which didn't really make any progress recently, but which is also still a great idea. And now that Radu made all the work for Kilt, we can revamp some of the initial ideas we had in it on using it to deploy it on Kubernetes, on EKS, on IBM Cloud, on all the platforms that we want it to be deployed, and also to manage things in Falco like configurations, rules. There's a string passing behind me. I will mute myself for a second. Sorry.
Go.
So yes, I believe that we should just revamp these and just an idea. We don't need to really talk about or voting these yet because we don't have code, we don't have any PRs, we don't have anything. Just want to tell everyone that this is an idea that we're gonna probably make happen if there's enough cycles or if anyone wants to contribute.
Yeah. By the way, I want just to add that there is a branch in the Falco CTL repository that is basically, I started refactoring the code just because there were a lot of old code not maintained. So in case we want to revamp it, I can help because I already did some cleanup and I know how it works. Just my 2 cents about that.
Yeah. If you, I mean, it depends on, I don't have cycles to, you know, lead a revamp of Falco CTL myself.
Me too, at the moment.
But I'm just saying that if anyone wants to be leading that, a very good way to do that is to start a working group and, you know, make a group of people that, you know, make decision on the project and, you know, become the maintainer of it. Falco CTL is written in Go, so it should be fairly easier than Falco. It's also a great opportunity to, you know, extend your involvement with the project because Falco CTL is in the future. We envision that Falco CTL will be the entry point for whatever thing in Falco. So essentially, the first layer of interaction with the users.
Okay, thank you, Radu, and thank you, Lorenzo. Next point, we noticed about, I think, some hours ago, that there are bots that are flooding the Falco website with PRs. I don't know what is happening, but I see there are a lot of PRs and they are still continuing to create new PR.
We probably need to open a, you know, a ticket to GitHub to see if they are having any issue with bots just because I mean,
The strange
this
thing,
is very funny. They are all renaming
yeah.
the README, and
Yeah, exactly. By the way, by mistake at the beginning, I did not notice that, and I also did a review on on one of these PR because it just seemed strange to me that someone just introduced typos and nothing else into the README.
yeah, okay, typo.
Yeah,
This is very funny, Leo. Thanks for
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
so weird. Indeed.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and the strange thing is that's happening only on the Falco website repository.
Maybe they scan for Hugo
Yeah,
apps.
it's possible. Maybe they are just trying some attack vector. I don't know.
In another PR, you can find a message like an alert for a software. I don't remember the one, but I think typo are just error from the bot, and it will add advert. I think it's a purpose. Also, it will not be for porn or Viagra.
Yeah.
I mean, this really looks like comments in WordPress websites in 2005.
Yeah, and this is the
Right.
evolution now.
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to farm the reputation of their bots so that they can get more. Weird.
This is very strange.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to
maybe
lock? So we could lock the repo for like a couple days until they get bored, if you want.
That's a good idea. This is a decision that this code can make. Do we want to vote on that?
I agree
I also
for
agree.
at least 24 hours.
So we want to block limit to prior contributors so that we can
Yeah.
still operate this.
Yeah,
And
just say something in Slack and on the mailing list, and then
Yes.
you know, well, we can turn it on next week's call. Put it on next week's call agenda.
yes, I will. So this worked actually. Enable 1 day remaining. Okay, I will pause the screen sharing and put everyone in the notes, and I can write to everyone that we did this. Can you
Perfect.
add the
Thank
note
you.
in the document, Leo, so that we don't forget about this?
Yes. Okay. I will put a note. In the meanwhile, next point is Thomas. A podcast French about
Just few words.
1447.
I recorded a podcast in French, so I think it's the first one in French about Falco. So if anyone is interested or want to improve his skills in French, just listen it.
I listened to it, and even if I have some French skills, I was really able to follow everything, but I think I got to the main points. Thanks for doing it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. The next point is me. Okay, and is about Falco output improvements. Laura, if you can open the link, please, the issue. Okay, thank you. Basically, I want just to give you an update on what I'm working on recently. While debugging about drop, I discovered, actually I already know that Falco outputs are blocking. What does it mean that they are blocking? Basically, every time an output blocks, for example, Laura, if you can open the comment linked in the additional context in the issue, please. Sorry, but I can screen share because Zoom problem. Okay. Okay, this was a finding that I did with JP Lachance. Basically, in their environment, they were using the program output, and the program output was I'm not exactly what he was doing, but basically it was calling an external services. And for all the time that the external program was running, the program blocked all the Falco processing. This incremented a lot the drop rate. Why this happened? It's simple. Basically, every time an output occurs, just to give you more context, there is not only the standard output. We have the syslog output, we have the HTTP output, we have the program output, we have the file output, and we also have the gRPC output. And basically, every time an output occurs, when we write on one of these output, the rule matching is blocked until the output is processed. What I'm doing to avoid that this problem will continue to cause drops in some situation. This usually happens only when the output is blocking for reasons that are external to Falco. I'm trying to refactor the current implementation and make output non-blocking. Non-blocking means offload the work of the outputs, for example, in another thread. Before doing this, while looking at the code, I found that there was a lot of glue code between the C++ and Lua code that implements the output. Laura, if you can go back and open the other issue, please. If you can, okay, exactly, that's it. This is just to give you an overview of what is currently happening inside the output implementation. Basically, when an event is triggered, the C++ code calls the Lua code that calls another piece of Lua codes that calls the C++ code that calls again Lua, and then the value is returned back. By looking at the code, I noticed that this was not really needed. It was just the initial design of the Falco output. And also I realized that it was not so difficult to refactor all this code directly in C++ and avoiding this ping pong between Falco and Lua. And I basically made a PR that is just refactoring this piece of code. So then in the next PR, I can try to offload the implementation of Falco outputs in another thread. This is just an update. Another thing that I want to say is that the problem that we found with JP Lachance was temporarily solved thanks to Falco Sidekick, because Falco Sidekick basically is not blocking, because when receive an event internally it uses goroutines, so it doesn't block Falco, and in general it could be a useful thing to use in these cases. Indeed, I want just to say thank you to Thomas that also helped me with this. I hope I explained it in a comprehensible way.
Another thing that many people do, I mean, just another workaround, is that they create an MK FIFO in their file system, and they redirect the Falco output to that. And then they read from the MK FIFO tool pipe into the tool that they use.
Do we have an example of this?
I will just go and search for MK FIFO in the Falco Security org. It's something that, I mean, this whole outputs thing has been around for so much time. And of course, people try to work around that in many different various and very creative ways. But thanks for, going and taking a stab and trying to fix that. It's very,
you're welcome.
Very useful.
Okay. The last
Also,
thing that I wanted to say
this
just
goes to our general plan of removing Lua completely. So
exactly. Also, this the only thing I wanted to say is that this PR is quite big. It's just about refactoring the interface, just porting a bunch of line of code from Lua to C++. But because I touched a lot of files, if you want to take a look, you all, it's a good thing, because I might did some mistake.
let's see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next.
Maybe an idea.
Something, Lorenzo?
Yeah, I wanted to add something on your point. Maybe an idea. I believe that the user that is, starting the conversation here was JP Lachance. Your PR should have been generating the packages for Falco and also the Tarbos. So it will be useful if you can talk with JP and see if they can try your implementation.
Yeah, but just one thing. The current PR is just a refactoring of what we currently have. So basically it behaves in the same way. I need this before trying to implement non-blocking outputs. So,
all right, I didn't understand that. Great.
Okay, after this PR, I already started, but after this PR, after this code is well tested and we all try this, I will
it's
do
good
another
that you're
PR.
not mixing the teaching.
Yeah. No problem. It's just to clarify. Then I will open another PR with this implementation, and of course I will ask JP Lachance if he can try this.
Cool.
Okay. The last point, Spencer did a cool workshop.
Oh yeah, we had, I don't know, maybe like 50 people on Saturday, and then I did a presentation on Monday that was like 70 people. The workshop is just, it's a code asset, so I figured I'd drop it here if people have specific quibbles, or just if you're in a similar situation trying to do a workshop, you can kind of copy and paste some of this. One of the things that sort of highlights to me in our documentation that I'm aware of is that I don't think we have a super good, this is how you write a rule page, and I sort of have the beginnings of one in here.
I don't think we have one actually, Spencer.
Exactly.
Not a good one. We don't even have one.
Yeah, we've got some sort of like reference material, but nothing that takes you through the idea of why you're writing a rule and how and stuff. At the kind of towards the tail end, I have a rules section, and it's not that crazy. Like you look at what the rules are and you sort of, you copy and paste and change some stuff. It's not, I don't think the users are clamoring for this, but if we are in that growth phase where we're trying to grow up to having more users, there's the rule writing section just up there. You know, I think we should try to do that. Anyways, this is the document that I created. So
this is
very cool.
I have so many things to say about this. If I can start first, I really like this because I like the workshop that I always do. Is very, it's like it can be read. You don't have to be with the person that tells you the workshop. It can be like, it's like a quick start on how to use Falco to me, and how to do everything you need to do in Falco. So it's more than a workshop to me, and this is exactly what I want to find. Like this, to me, it's very like the our wiki, right? When you look for something in the our wiki, and it tells you all the things that you need to know all in one page. I have two ideas that you can follow. This can either replace, we have a Falco workshop repository in the Falco or security organization. This can either replace that because it's not maintained.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a repo already and people might find it. So it might have a SEO. And so if we replace with something more updated, or we can go and take this and make this to be a quick start to Falco, like on its own page in the documentation or somewhere, because this is very valuable. And honestly, I probably don't know a lot of things that you wrote here, and I'm writing the code that makes this. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think this would be extremely valuable in the docs. Get started in X time with Falco.
Yeah, this one is, you know, sort of dependent on some cloud infrastructure. So I would need to sort of de-IBMify it. But I'm happy to take any of that feedback and push this wherever we think it should go.
I mean, the IBM part of it, I think that can be, I mean, we can have a quick start and assume that you have a Kubernetes cluster already running.
Yeah, send people the Minikube docs or something.
Yeah, and we can take the IBM part that you have and, you know, commit it somewhere so that you can link also these this thing specifically. Probably. I don't think that there's anything else. Yeah, there's some important things. I believe that you can still interlink those parts and you can extract these and link it. And we can have it in the Falco documentation. It's still Falco stuff. Just say this will only work in IBM Cloud, and I think we will be fine. In my opinion. So awesome. This is very cool. This is very good.
Very cool, by the way. Very cool, by the way.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for that.
Amazing. It even tells you, yeah, how to debug things. So it's very cool. It's very, very cool. So if you want to, I mean, the thing I will really love is like falco.org, like docs.quick start, and these, if you make this page, it's gonna be the first page that we link to everyone when they have questions on Falco.
Yeah, I agree. I can take the quick start parts out and make that. Yeah.
And if you want to, you know, keep the IBM stuff in it, feel free to add them in the documentation. We have a very good third-party documentation file, but you can create a new one and add the IBM parts there so that we can still interlink them, because there will be people using it in IBM Cloud, and we want to provide documentation for it. If we already have it, it's even better. That's my idea.
Yep, I agree. Please, Spencer, do that if you want.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So we finished the points for today. We have just the last thing. Any volunteer to be the next MC?
I'd really love to do that, but they have so many working groups to run. But they
Yeah.
can do it if no one else volunteers.
I can do it for another week if you all are busy. It's not a problem for me.
If you can, you gotta do me a favor.
Yeah, I will do. I will do. Okay, so I think we have done. Thank you to everyone, and see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks. This was very productive. See you next week
Bye.
or tomorrow
Thank
if
you.
you are in the infrastructure working group. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.